Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And today we're going to be talking about what? Interest rates hitting 8%. Oh yeah. And some people are already experiencing 8% interest rates. What should we do about it? Listen, I need you to come to the stage and come up to the stage if you want to talk about it today. It's very important. Here's what I need. I need as many people as I can get to come to the stage right now. Raise your hand, even if you don't say anything. I need more people on the stage. We need to populate the stage. All right. So thank you. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up, Miss Michelle. I love it. I love it. All right. Who's going to follow her lead? Somebody else come on up. Come on. Raise your hand. Come up to the stage. Listen, you don't have to say anything if you don't. Bruce, come on, man. I love it. I love it. Come on up, Bruce. We need you up here. We need somebody to participate today. So let's get Bruce up here. Bruce raised his hand and let's invite him up. All right, there we go. Nice to have you up here. Now, listen, can I get two more people? Can I get two more people to raise their hand and come to the stage, whether you want to talk or not? You're in here wanting to get some information. And I have a good morning to Miss Zoe, who is watching us on YouTube this morning. Good morning, Miss Zoe. So let me say good morning to all my YouTube people and Facebook and everybody. Good morning to you. All right. Good morning in the chat, in the comment section. All right, there we go. All right, good morning to everybody. We're going to say good morning. All right, good morning, Miss Michelle. So good morning to everybody here on Clubhouse as well. Good morning. Put a little sunshine on it. There it is.
Good morning, Doc Ice. How are you?
I'm doing well, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So what
Thank you
brings
for inviting me up.
Yes. So what brings you to the stage this morning?
What brings me to the stage is you,
Ah,
your genuineness and pouring out to us and, helping us absorb and learn the pill method. So I want to be here to learn more and just be a participant and represent your stage. Thank you for having me.
thank you so much. Listen, if something goes on here, if something you hear, all right, and it sparks a question, don't wait for an opening. Open your mic and say, Don, I got a question. Okay. Stop me in the middle of a sentence if you need to. All right. And if I need to finish a thought, I will. But I just need you to pop in with your questions whenever they are available so you don't forget them, because your questions make the show. Without questions, there is no show. There is no show without questions. So I need two more people to raise their hand and come up to the stage. I see Jessica. I see, let me see who else I got. I see D Porter out there, Elaine, Alex, Annie, Ramel, King, Saeed. Listen, come on up to the stage. You can listen from the stage as well. All right. But when you come up to the stage, everybody that you're friends with sees that you're on the stage, and it will prompt them to come in as well. All right. We get to talk to more people and share this information that Miss Michelle was talking about. Bruce, how are you doing this morning? And Bruce, I can understand if you can't talk. Oh, go ahead.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. What brings you to the Pill Method house today?
Well, I actually have a question, but I'll wait.
I love
I have some
listen.
specific.
I love it when you have a question. Can listen, do you mind? Let's hop right into your question.
Okay. So I have a 15-year mortgage,
Uh-huh.
and I owe about 250,000 on the remaining,
Uh-huh.
and I pay an extra $1,000 a month on the mortgage.
Right.
What are your suggestions on that? Because I'm not sure about. I don't know too much about the pill method. Because I come in and out, in and out, in and out, and I've never really stayed through the whole presentation.
All right. So first of all, Bruce, here's what we're talking about. You have to know what your money is buying. When you pay money, you're purchasing something. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
Okay. So when you pay that extra $1,000, what in your mind, what do you know is happening by giving the bank an extra $1,000 each month? What do you know is happening?
Well, I pay it toward directly to the principal.
Exactly. So what
So
happens?
that's what I know.
What happens because of that?
It brings down the total amount that I owe.
Exactly. So now the total amount has to do with the interest and the principal, correct?
Right.
So you're not affecting reducing the principal, you're affecting reducing the interest. So my question
Right.
to you is, how much interest are you saving with one when you do one $1,000 payment? That would be my question.
You know what? I don't know.
And you know what?
I could try to calculate it, but
And do you know what?
I haven't done that. But
So now here's what now I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to make a point here. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I get it.
So I said, now, Bruce, send me an extra $1,000. And what's your first thought?
Why?
Exactly. And I'm going to say, well, Bruce, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do with it. I'm not going to tell you what benefits you get out of it.
That's not good.
That's not good. So the bank is not telling you what you're getting out of it. So that's the first thing you need to know. What happens when I prepay and how is it helping me? Okay.
Okay.
So now when you know how much interest you're saving, then there's a next step. There's a next step after that. And here's that next step. Let's put it like this. When you're buying gas, you want to know how much gas is per gallon, correct?
Yes, sir.
You want to know how much gas is per gallon. So now, when you're getting your gas per gallon, when you pay your money, for every dollar that you put into your gas tank, do you want to put more gas in or less gas? More gas per dollar, correct?
Yeah.
So when you put your money on principal, do you realize you can figure out how much interest you saved? And therefore you could do the math to find out how much interest did I just save per what?
I would say per month.
Well, per month, but we're talking about per dollar right now. So you're putting a certain amount of dollars on. How much interest did I save per dollar?
Right. Yeah.
All right. So now, would you be interested to know that you can figure out, well, it can be figured out how to save the most interest per dollar when you apply your money?
Right. That's what I want to figure out.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So here's the thing. It is a very complicated process. Because we have a computer that does it. And when computers do something, so are you able to like to go to YouTube on a different device, maybe your computer or something?
Not right now.
Okay, then you want to see this.
I'm in the midst of getting ready for work.
All right.
I work from home, so I'm on my phone actually.
All right, you want to see this a little later then, because I'm going to put something on I want to put something on the screen, but I want to use your information to do it. Can we do that?
Absolutely, but we can't do it like right now.
Okay.
Can we do it later on?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just need a little information.
What do you need?
I just need about how much is the mortgage when it started?
Oh, crap.
Give me any number. Give me any number. It's close.
When it started, because I did a
when you started the 15-year part.
Okay, when I started, it was about 350.
350. Good. All right, 350,000. And you said it was for 15 years, right?
Yeah.
That's 180.
About 4 years ago, I did it.
180 payments, and the interest rate.
It was pretty good. I think the interest rate was 3.25.
Okay, 3.25. There we go.
Well, I would have to look at.
That's okay. I just
That's
need,
a-
it doesn't need to be exact for this example. Okay. 3.25. All right. So here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a payment of 2,459.34. That's just principal and interest. Okay.
Okay.
On the very first payment, $1,511.42.
So you said how much was the You said principal and interest doesn't include taxes, right?
No taxes. Because see,
Oh,
taxes and insurance doesn't, that doesn't do anything
right.
to
Yeah.
help
So
you to
that's
pay off your
kind of like
mortgage.
right. That's kind
Yeah.
of like a decent figure. Yeah.
Yeah, decent figure. We just need something that's
Yeah.
close. It doesn't need to be exact. Okay. So we just need to break down how much goes to principal, how much goes to interest, correct?
Yeah.
So I got about $1,500 going to principal. I got about $947 going to interest. That's what happens when you make that first payment.
Okay.
Okay.
The
So
first payment, right? Mhm.
very first payment. So the second payment, 1,515 goes to principal, 943.82 goes to interest. Okay. So
Okay.
here's what I'm talking about. If I were to prepay, I made the first month's payment, and if I were to prepay the second month's payment of principal payment of $1,515, let's say I had about, instead of 1,000, I'm going to do $1,515. Okay. If I do that, I save exactly $943 in interest.
All right. You know what? I have the statement right here.
Okay.
I got the statement right here. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you exactly. All right. So the principal and interest payment is
Okay.
also like at this point now.
It doesn't really matter because
Principal.
it all
Okay.
adds up to the same amount every month. It's just,
Okay.
it's just a different
Okay.
configuration.
Right. So it's yeah. It's let me see. The principal is 1757, and then
17.
the interest is
Wait.
yeah 17.
Wait.
Yeah.
1757 and how many pennies?
Spot 42.
42 cents. Okay. That's the
And then
principal. Interest is
516 spot 15.
516.15. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do just a little bit of math here. Okay. 13, 6, 7, 12. So your principal and interest payment is 2,000. All right. 273.57. All right.
Okay.
2,273.57. All right. 2,273.57. All right. So I'm going to share this on the screen, everybody, so you can see what we're talking about. All right. I'm putting that on the screen right now. I got to change my banners up. And we change that up. And we're going to put this on the screen this way. There we go. Boom. All right. So I got 300. So what we're going to do is we got 180 payments. Do you see the interest rate there, Bruce?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. If not, we'll keep it at the 3.25.
Let me see. Okay. Again, I'm looking at the statement now, but that it's another change, right? The interest rate is actually 2.375.
2.375. Okay. 2.375. Okay. So now,
Yeah.
based on that, I can tell you where the loan started.
Okay.
The very first month. Your loan started right at $344,000.
That's about right. Yep.
Yep. Okay. So now let's take a look at the first payment again. First payment, 1592 of 74 goes to principal, $680.83 goes to interest on the very first payment. Okay.
Okay.
So now on the second payment, I'm looking at the amortization schedule. On line 2, you have 1595.89 going to principal and 677.68. So we have a little less interest and a little more principal, but each month it always adds up to 2,273.57. All right. So if I prepay the 1595.89 on line 2, do you realize that saves me $677.68 worth of interest?
You asked me the question, or
No, I'm telling you.
oh yeah,
Okay.
okay,
That saves.
okay, yeah.
So when you prepay, you can kind of tell how much interest you're saving. All right. So now we're going to take a look at, I'm putting a calculator on the screen. All right. So everybody can see. So my savings is $677 and 68 cents. Oops. Delete 68 cents. And I prepaid $1,595.89. That's my prepayment. I paid that ahead of time. All right. I added that to my regular mortgage payment. So we're going to divide that by 1,595.89 equals. Okay. So now that means for every dollar I put on, I'm saving about 42 cents in interest that I cannot be charged. Okay. For every dollar, that saves me 42 cents. So if, in other words, if you gave me $1, all right, and for every dollar you gave me, all right, it says you paid $1, all right, and then I said, I'm going to reduce that by 42 cents. So more of your dollar would actually do what you want it to do. You make it impossible for every dollar, you make it impossible for the bank to charge you 42 cents in interest every time you do something like that. You see where I'm going?
Yes.
Now, depending on the number of dollars you put on at any given time, you can reduce that 42 cents or you can increase that 42 cents by putting the right amount of money on at the right time. So that's what we're going to be getting at. And how this is how a computer does it. Okay. For the computer, what you put in, a computer takes a look at all of your finances and says, he's got this much money, but we break it down into pennies. Let's say we have $2,000 we're working with. So the computer says, how much out of the 2,000 would help Bruce save the most per dollar? The computer has to break this down to pennies. I'm going to move 1 penny on every day, on every month to figure out how much interest I could save. Then it's going to do 2 pennies, then 3 pennies, then 4 pennies until it comes up with the right amount. All right. And let's say the right amount is exactly $1,227.63. Do you know a computer can do that in a matter of 2 or 3 seconds? Do you know how long it would take you to figure out how can I save the most per dollar?
You asking me the question, or
Yeah.
you just telling me?
No, I'm just saying, would you get based on doing 1 penny at a time? How long would it take you to do it? A long time, right?
It'll probably take me a while. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is why we use computers to do that. So we can always know when you're putting money on your debt, how much interest are you saving per dollar? So when somebody asks me, Don, what is the right day and the right amount to put on my mortgage so I can save the most? The real answer is I don't know, because it changes for everybody and it changes every single month. So you do need a system. Now, if you just want to put money on, any amount, that's what most people fall back to. They're going to put any amount on. But guess what? If you knew that you could put an extra $100 on, or maybe the right amount is not $1,000, maybe the right amount is actually $749.50 for you. Because you're saving the most you can with the $749. But when you put a whole 1,000 on, the amount of interest you're saving per dollar starts to go down. And that's when you can figure out, I can use my money over here to save the maximum amount of interest. And when I figure that out, then I could take the rest of that money and invest it somewhere else where it's making money. Are you investing anywhere, Bruce?
Yes.
See, if you have a way to divide that up, you can say, I can save the most in interest over here with this money. I can take the rest of that money and invest it over here in my investment where I'm making, X amount of dollars, per quarter in my investments. What's my return on, am I making 6%, 7%, 10% in my investment? I know how much to put in my investment. I know how much to save in interest over here when that's broken down. So my money is now more efficient. So we got used to people like Dave Ramsey telling us if everybody does this one thing, everybody will be okay when they're paying off their debt. Now that we know that everybody's finances are different, can everybody take the same advice when it comes to paying off their debt? Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we go to the doctor, and if the doctors gave the same advice to everybody, we wouldn't be listening to that doctor, would we?
That's correct.
Okay. So when it comes to advice in finances, we need something that's going to be give me something that speaks to my situation in particular. What is the strategy that I need as an individual? What is the strategy that I need to get the biggest bang for my buck? And that's what we come down to ultimately, is coming up with a strategy that helps people where they are. So I hope that makes sense, Bruce, that knowing how much you put on, and how much you're saving, then you can say, okay, if I save the most money in interest with the right amount of money, then that's actually going to get me out of debt even faster because I know exactly how much to put on it and I know exactly when to do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what the P.I.L.L method does.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any other
So,
questions?
so, so how do I, get on the pill method?
Okay. Well, the first thing you want to do is get a free savings and earnings report. How would you like to know the month, day, and year you could be debt free, not just on your mortgage, but all of your debt? The month, day, and year you could be debt free, and how much interest you could save. And you can know that all up front before you do anything, and you can get that for free.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to pin my link to the top, which is ICE, ICE, the number 10, the letter K.com. And so ice10k.com, that's what we have at the top. And if you click on that link, you'll find a button that says get a savings and earnings report. In fact, I'm going to put that on the screen so everybody can see because you asked. All right. So we're going to pull up a new thing right there, ice10k.com. And this is what people see when they go there. They come to my digital business card, and then they can they scroll down till they see get your savings and earnings report. And this screen comes up, and then they can start following all the directions over here. Here are your instructions. It's in 2 steps. Put your information in, your contact information. Then we confirm that through your email. And then once we get that done, then another screen pops up where you put all your financial information in, your mortgage, credit cards, car loans, what is the minimum payment, and a little bit of information about income and what's left over after paying all the bills. We put that in, and then we come up with a report that says, here's how much interest you're going to save. Here's the month, day, and year you could be debt free. And what's great about it, Bruce, is that you don't have to sacrifice lifestyle to get this done. You can live a great life while you're saving more money and getting out of debt cheaper and faster. And it will feel like you're not sacrificing at all. There you have it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah. What's the cost?
The cost is the best part. the cost is the best part. So like I said, you're going to get that part for free, correct?
Okay.
Okay. If you know how much interest you're going to save, and I said, okay, I'm going to save you $100,000 in interest, but I'm going to get a small percentage of that $100,000 that you were going to save, and then you're going to use that to pay for your program. So the money ultimately comes from the money the bank thought they were going to get. I'm going to use their money to pay for your lifetime program.
Okay.
How you like that?
That doesn't sound bad.
No. So, it's got to be a win-win situation, right?
Right.
So if you're going to get a program that's going to save you money and get you out of debt in 3 or 4 years, you got to know how much money you're going to save. Otherwise, you can say, you know what? I just keep doing what I'm doing. And then we'll show you the difference between what you're doing and what we're doing and let you choose.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's nothing to sell you. There's only, here are the numbers. You say, well, I want to keep doing what I've been doing, or yeah, I want to do this new thing that's going to save me more money and get me out of debt faster.
Right.
Yeah.
So with this method,
Mhm.
do I like pay the extra at the same time every month, or it's different days that you got to do it? Or
Boy, Bruce, you are killing it today. All right. So here's the thing: you don't make an extra payment to principal every month. Only at strategic times during the year.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the timing to disrupt the bank's ability to charge you interest. So what will happen is, after we take a look at your finances, okay, because your finances constantly change. Do you pay the same amount for your electricity bill every month?
No, I do not.
You do not. Okay. And so we're going to take.
I kind of do. I kind of do.
All right. Are you on a budget plan?
No, I have solar, so I don't.
Okay. All right. So we got electric bill, we've got cable, we've got food, we got gasoline. So we got all of these things. And sometimes stuff happens like a flat tire and I got to get that fixed, things like that. So some months you have more left over after all the bills are paid, and some months you have less left over, correct?
Yeah.
So the program says, oh, based on that, let's put that money that you have left over in savings. All right. We put that in your savings account. And then every 2 to 4 months, the program will read how much you have in savings. And for Bruce's family, when that number hits this amount, whatever that best amount is for you, the program is going to say, let's tap that savings account now. And let's take out some of that money and apply it to this particular debt on this particular day. And then we'll calculate how much interest you save by doing that. So you don't do it every month, only at strategic times during the year. And it actually saves you more money in interest by doing that.
One second.
Sir. So everybody, Bruce is getting himself together. Does anybody else have any questions or comments about this while we're getting ready to get into what happens when interest rates hit 8%? So Bruce is heading into work. I'm going to get a drink of water. And is there anybody else? Oh, TC. Let's bring TC up. TC, how are you doing?
This is Michelle.
Hey, Michelle. Again?
Hey, I'll wait till after you talk to TC. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, TC.
Hey, sir, how you doing? Hello to everybody on the platform. Good morning. Good morning. I
Good
just came
morning.
in. I came in by the title, and I caught the last part of what you were stating concerning, or it may have been Mr. Bruce that stated it concerning the two payments. Uh, I'm currently using that plan system where I'm doing two payments a month.
Okay.
Uh, so I, and again, I caught the last end of it. So if there is a way that I can make adjustments to save interest,
Yes.
yeah, I would love to do that because what got me to the two payment system a month, even though the bank says it's one payment, I split that in half and I pay it every 2 weeks.
Right.
Because to my understanding, which my understanding may be inaccurate, okay. So when I pay it, that's when the interest rate starts over each time a payment is done. So, so it's kind of like a behind the scene way of reducing interest rate overall.
Okay. Let's talk about that. All right. So that's how most people look at biweekly payments. They look at it exactly like you explained it. Would you like to
Okay,
know what actually happens?
sure,
Okay.
please.
When you make your first payment around the first of the month, okay?
Okay.
So, according to your explanation, by paying on the first of the month, half your mortgage payment, then the mortgage company applies some of that money, and it saves you interest on that very first payment. And then because you paid it at the first of the month, and then you pay another payment 2 weeks later, you're going to save some additional interest because you're bringing down the principal throughout the month. Does that sound about right?
Right.
Okay. Let me tell you what the bank actually does. Are you ready?
Sure.
And if you read your paperwork, it says exactly this. Your mortgage company or bank only accepts full payments. So here's what's really happening. When you make that first payment, they just hold it
Mm.
until you make the second payment, and then they apply it. You're not saving a dime of interest at all most months. So let me tell you what actually happens. Twice a year, okay? Since you're making these half payments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Twice a year, you're going to make a payment around the first, and you're going to make another payment around the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're going to make another payment in the same month around the 30th.
Mm.
It is that third payment that actually saves you money. That gets applied straight to principal, and that only happens twice a year. So 10 months out of the year, that biweekly payment does nothing. And only 2 months out of the year, it helps you. And so when you read about it, if you go on the internet to read about it, what happens is it actually adds up to 13 payments a year. Because 6 months out of the year, you make an extra half payment in this month, and then you make an extra half payment in the second time that happens. So those two half payments make up one full payment, correct?
Correct.
And then when you make up that one full payment, that comes up to 13 payments a year. And your mortgage company, by doing the math, the savings come out to between 4.9 and 7 years. The most you can save is 7 years, taking a 30-year loan down to 23, which is still a significant interest savings.
Mm.
But with the P.I.L.L method, most of our clients pay off their loans in about 7 years. And they're not doing a biweekly payment.
Now let me ask you: does this apply to? And I know it's mortgage, but does this apply to land of commercial land? Would that be something different?
Anything that charges you interest, the bank says, if you pay me according to our schedule, you're going to pay this much interest to borrow this money to pay for this land, to whatever it is you're paying for. If they're charging you interest and you follow the bank's plan, That's how you pay that's how you're going to pay them their interest. But who's to say I have to pay you back according to your plan? Why can't I pay you back according to my plan? And there are literally times I can give the bank back their money in a way that it makes it impossible for them to charge me interest.
Mm.
How would you like that?
I think so. I do believe so.
And that's what this show is all about, teaching you how to disrupt the bank's timing, because when you follow their timing, you pay the most interest. You pay every dime that they want. But when you disrupt their timing, you can give them money at a time that brings down your principal balance so that they can't charge you interest. It's called your right to prepay. Your right to prepay. And so, and when you look at that, when you look at your right to prepay, it is amazing how that works.
Wow. Yes, I would definitely be interested in that. Not only because of what you just stated, but I'm actually in the process, literally in the process now of getting ready to get a car.
Okay.
So this information would be much needed before I get my car. So that way, of course, I'm going to listen to what they are saying, but if I have the knowledge, I could be like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. And I can still use my way to disrupt their way of paying.
TC. There you go. TC, guess what? Can I give you a little bit of, let me give you a little bit of help on when you get your car. Are you planning to put down a down payment?
I'm not.
Okay, good. Because you should never put a large down payment on a car or a house ever. Don't ever do it.
Okay.
Because I can show you how you can take that money you were going to put as a down payment, make it as a prepayment after you establish the loan, and you can knock a year or two off your loan by using the money that way instead of using it as a down payment.
Wow.
And we can show you the numbers. Okay.
Wow.
So
yes, I would love to do this.
So if you go to my YouTube channel, I can give you some good advice on how all of that works. But our program, we have a cloud-based AI system, computing system that does all of the math, that tells you exactly what to do and when, so that you can pay off all of your debt in record time using the same amount of money you already make, getting the biggest bang out of your bucks. You don't need to make more money to get out of debt faster. You just need to pay less interest.
Right.
Give the money back when you want to, and it saves you a ton of interest and cuts off a ton of time. So if you would go to ice10k.com, you can fill out a savings and earnings report, or you can call the office at area code 256. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. 256 886 1867, and get more information on how you can set up your car loan to save you money. It won't be exactly like our program, but some people don't qualify for our program, but that doesn't mean we can't give good advice.
Right.
Now, your car loan is set up differently from your mortgage. Do you know your car loan will accept several payments a month?
Okay.
But your mortgage won't.
Okay.
And we can show you how to pay your car off and save you about 2 years on your car loan using just the minimum payment.
Okay. Yes, I would definitely like to learn about this.
Okay.
And I could, yeah.
All right. Well, keep this information. Keep ICE 10K. That is my digital card. When you click on that, you can actually save it to your phone. It's easy to do. Click the button in the upper left-hand corner. and you can save my contact information to your phone and play around with it and get all the information off of it. We've got videos there. We also have a link to over 200 of our shows in that card that you can watch right from your phone. You don't even have to, you don't even have to have it on your computer. You can watch it right from your phone. Over 200 shows, and we have them listed according to category and title. Thank you, TC, for coming to the stage. Okay, you're muffled right now.
I was asking, will someone reach back out to me once I look at the link?
Oh no, well, you'll have to actually contact us because we won't have your contact information. So
Okay, all right, cool. I will.
Make sure you
All right,
give
thank you so much, sir.
certainly give us a call, and then my staff will get your name, your number, and your zip code, and you just ask your question, and somebody will call you back. In fact,
All right, great.
yeah,
Thank you.
in
I
fact,
appreciate it, sir.
they're actually answering the phones right now.
All right, nice.
All right, so let's get to
Bless you,
Michelle.
sir.
Miss Michelle, you had a question or a comment?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you.
Go right ahead.
I would like to know, thank you. I would like to know if there's anything I can do as of right now. I have a vehicle that I had to purchase for my son, and the first payment will be due on the first. Is there anything I could do differently to bring that down or make a difference going forward with my payments?
So, do you want something everybody can do, or do you want something just P.I.L.L method people can do?
Pill method people can do.
Okay. Well, if you were with the P.I.L.L method, we would be able to take a look at all of your finances and tell you exactly what to pay and when to save the most in interest. Okay. But
Okay.
if you're not with our company, here's something I discovered that got this whole ball rolling. It was actually my wife's car payment that got the P.I.L.L method company rolling back in 2006. That's when we started, 2006. Would you like to know what I learned?
Of course.
So, when it comes to car payments, all right, what the bank does is they take your interest rate and they figure out how much interest do you pay daily. So they take your interest rate and divide it by 30 and come up with, here is how much daily interest we can charge. You follow so far?
Yes.
Okay. So the way that they do this is that they add up the interest for 30 whole days, for an entire month. And when you make your payment, all right, the amount of interest is subtracted first, and the rest is going to principal to pay down the car. You follow that part?
I do.
If they're allowed to charge you 30 days worth of interest on the balance, they're getting every single penny they want from you, which means there's not a whole lot left over to put on the car itself to pay down the loan.
Right.
Okay. So what if you did this? And this is what I found out. What we did, my wife's car payment was about $400 a month. Now, this works for cars, TC. It doesn't work for mortgages. Okay. So he just told me I couldn't do that. Yes, but the rules are different for cars. The rules are different for cars. All right. So what I did was I divided our car payment into fours. I paid it 4 times a month. So I paid $100 a month. What happened is when I gave them the $100, some of that money was applied to principal right away and some went to interest. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I lowered my balance. So now when they charge me interest for the next month, for the next week, they can't charge me as much because now I don't owe as much, correct?
Correct.
Because I already gave them some money. So now I get another week's worth of interest cost, but it's a lower interest cost because I don't owe as much. So I give them another $100. and bring down the principal again, how much I owe. I bring it down again. And so for the third week, they can't charge me as much interest. And then I do it again for the fourth week, and they can't charge me as much interest because I'm bringing down my balance throughout the month. So as they're trying to charge me daily interest, they said, shoot, she keeps making us start over every week. And we can't charge her as much interest. So more of your money out of your $400 goes to principal and less goes to interest. And guess what happens the next month on their car payment, Michelle?
Car payment is lower.
It most certainly is. But you're not going to fall for that. You're going to keep paying the same amount because because they're going to say, you don't owe us as much because you gave us more than what we're looking for last month. So you don't owe as much this month. But if you were to pay that lower amount, they're trying to recoup the amount of interest you just saved. So keep paying the same amount, and pretty soon you get further and further ahead. And pretty soon they're going to say, well, you don't owe us but half the payment now. You don't owe us but a quarter of your regular payment now. And pretty soon they'll tell you, man, you don't owe us a payment at all this month, Michelle. But are you going to listen to them? Michelle, are you going to listen to them?
No, I'm gonna still keep paying.
You're going to keep paying. But guess what is great about that? You're not paying any more than the $400 we were paying in the first place. We're just going to keep paying the same $400, but because of interest cancellation, I get to pay less interest out of my $400. So more of my $400 is applied to principal to bring down how much I owe on this loan. Isn't that amazing? And when I discovered that, that's when I started studying amortization schedules. I started looking into it more. And when I started looking into it, I said, man, the way my brain works, because if you've been in my room before, you heard me talk about the fact that I have Asperger's, which is a mild form of autism. And when I see an amortization schedule, I see the pictures and the patterns. I'm not really strong when it comes to math, but when I see the pictures and the patterns, I say, well, if I do it this way, they can't possibly charge me all of that interest because I'm giving them money throughout the month. How's that? Doesn't that sound great? TC is raising his hand.
Wonderful. I love that.
Come on now. Now, did I know exactly what was going on at the beginning? No, I didn't know how to figure that out. In fact, when they kept telling me I don't owe as much this month, I called my credit union and I said, why is this happening? Do you know nobody at the credit union could tell me why and how this works? Nobody. So we just kept it up. And when I started studying it more and more, I started figuring out more and more. And then we started a business because of it. And now we're the only business in America that will guarantee that you'll pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible when it comes to your loans. The only one. And we'll guarantee it. And if we don't do it,
wonderful, Doc. I'm so happy. That's wonderful.
You get your money back. We either do what we say or you don't pay. Okay, so we've been in business since 2006. If you were to Google P.I.L.L method right now, you Google P.I.L.L method right now. In fact, let's do that. I put it on the screen. I'm going to Google P.I.L.L method. Okay, I'm going to Google P.I.L.L method, and the first thing you see is all of our information when you Google us. All right. Do you know P.I.L.L method is so popular now, Michelle, that birth control is on page 2?
I can believe that.
we're more popular than birth control. Come on now, everybody. And we're looking at it on the screen right now. All right. And I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to scroll down. We're going to find some. Yeah, we're on TV. We're in magazines. What else we got? Oh, we got a best in business award right here. That's on there. We got an office in Bermuda. All right, we're taking a look at that. Let's see. Oh, we've got a book out and the different places you can get the book. And oh, here's Better Business Bureau. Better Business Bureau. Let me click on Better Business Bureau. P.I.L.L Method, Better Business Bureau. We'll take a look at that. We're going to scroll down and oh, there's our address and oh, customer reviews. We got 5-star reviews. And here's the one thing I like. Okay. How long we've been in business? Over 17 years. Over 17 years. We have an A+ rating. And here's the part I like. Customer complaints. Now, you may not be able to see this right now, Michelle, but guess how many customer complaints we've had in 17 years. I'll let you guess. How many?
None.
Exactly. No customer complaints in 17 years. We're in our 18th year. How's that, ladies and gentlemen? So thank you. Listen, I love it when people ask questions because it just adds spice to our conversation. Can I answer? Are there any other questions I can handle today? So Alex, brought you to the stage. How are you doing today? Let's bring Jessica up. Alex, are you there? All right. Before we get to you, Jessica, Bruce, did you have something else you wanted to add to your questions? Okay. So Bruce, when you're ready, you can jump back in. Miss Jessica, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine, and I hope you all are as well. Thanks for bringing me up to the stage. I am on this call this morning because I happened to tune into another room that you were on last night, and you were talking with Dave
Yes.
about interest rate. And so I was really curious about the topic. I can foot stomp what you just said about the car loan situation because I've done that, and it does work.
It does.
Yeah, it does. So whoever's thinking about doing that, I highly recommend that strategy as well. Or I can attest to the fact that it does work. And I'm curious about credit cards. I don't have a lot of debt. But I just wanted to ask the question about credit cards. I've noticed the same effect with credit card payments. But I was curious about how to know the timing of when to pay so that you can, or I guess maybe my question is there a way or a timing that I should think about when paying my credit card payment back if I'm not paying the entire balance to not have to incur so much interest? And so, again, I don't have much debt. I have a card that I pay off every month, and then I have one that I let roll over. And I just wanted to get educated on that so that I would know which strategy to use.
Okay, that is a very good question. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting the link to my YouTube channel. We're live on YouTube right now. So if you're in a position where you can actually see what we're talking about, you want to go on a secondary device on your other phone or your laptop or a tablet or something where you can actually see these examples on the screen live on YouTube. Miss Jessica, are you in a position to be able to see what we're talking about?
Yes, I am right now getting on YouTube.
Okay. And I put the link in the chat, or what you also can do is go to YouTube and search for P.I.L.L Method, and we'll come right up and you can click on the live.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay. Make sure that your volume is down on your other device.
Got it. I'm going to mute and
okay.
the live. Okay, yes, I'm there.
All right. So now you ask credit cards. Are the credit cards the only debt you have right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So now it's very important to know what happens with credit cards. I'm going to show you something that most people don't know. All right. I've got them. I still have Bruce's mortgage up here. All right. And I'm going to put in also, I'm going to put in a credit card and to show you something very interesting. Most people are taught to hate and to fear credit card interest. We're going to allay those fears right now. So we're going to put in a $10,000 balance on a credit card. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to put in an interest rate of 27%.
Mm. Whenever I get a statement saying there's an update to my terms and I see double digits, I'm like, they are absolutely crazy. I've seen 29%. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, well, listen, if you're seeing 29%, let's use that.
Okay.
I'm putting in, let's put in at 29%. Okay. Now, I'm using for a teaching tool, what I'm using is an amortization calculator that was invented by a guy named Brett Whistle. This is not my program.
Yeah.
I just use this to teach. BRETWHISSEL. And anybody can, by watching my videos, they can go to Brett Whistle and start using this tool as a teaching tool. Okay. So got 29%. Now, all credit cards, this is number of monthly payments. This is how they use, this is the number they use for their amortization is 240 months. All credit cards use a 240 month amortization. Okay. All credit cards.
Okay.
So
how many years is that, by the way?
That's 20 years.
Okay.
240 months is 20 years. But what they do is all credit cards add a certain percentage to the minimum payment. So each month they have, they'll do this calculation using the amortization formula over 240 months to figure out what your interest payment would be. And then they take a certain percentage of your balance and add it to and come up with your minimum payment. Okay. So credit cards are a little different from all other loans. The basics are there for all loans, but the rules are different for each type of loan. Okay. So now I've got a $10,000 balance. Now I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to take a look at $10,000 at 29%. And the interest payment is $680.83. $600. Okay.
Okay.
Now let me show you something else. I'm going to change this now to oh no, I'm sorry.
This is the same data.
No, actually it's not $600. It's you know what I forgot? I forgot to calculate. Huh.
Right.
Let's calculate it. And let's find out. Oh, it's only $241. How about that? You see, when I hear 27% or 29%, that's 29% a year. 29% a year. So what they're actually doing is taking, I'm gonna put my calculator on the screen so that you can see that. All right. So now, because you're watching this on the internet, there's always going to be delay between what I say and what you see. Right?
Yes.
Right.
It's okay.
So now there is, so I got 29%, that's 0.029. All right. And then they take that and divide it by 12. So my interest rate is 2.4% a month. 2.4% a month at 29%. So does that change things for you a little bit? Instead of the 29%, you're not paying 29% a month. You're making 1 month's worth of interest, 2.4% of $10,000. All these numbers here, they have to come up with a payment of $242.45. Now, here's what I need to ask you based on what you know to be true. All right. And I need everybody to listen in on this because this helps us to understand these 8% interest rates. Because to tell you the truth, I like the higher interest rates if we can afford the payments. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. All right. So I got a $10,000 credit card at 29%. What are all of the experts telling me to do with this? 29%. What are they telling us to do with that, Miss Jessica?
Probably get a loan that has a lower interest rate so that you can pay it off, or
well, listen, whatever it is,
just
however you do it, they want us to pay that off, don't they?
pay it off. Yeah,
Because they say that 29% is killing you, correct?
correct.
Can I show you something?
Yeah.
All right. I've got a 15-year mortgage at 2.375%. Okay. And listen, if you could get a 2.3% interest rate, wouldn't that be great?
Yes,
Sounds a lot better than 27%, doesn't it?
it does.
29%. But my interest on my very first interest payment on this loan is $680. Why is it that we get bent out of shape if we look at 29% on $10,000 and it only comes to $241, but we don't get bent out of shape when our interest rate is 2.375% on 344,000 and it comes to $680, way more interest. We're not get freaked out about that. Let me show you something. Now, you don't have a mortgage, but I'm just trying to put things in perspective for you, Miss Jessica. Here's what I'm looking at. If I had $10,000 in the bank, $10,000 in my bank, and one of these financial experts like, Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman or somebody else that's on the internet, they said, what would they have me do with my $10,000 I had in the bank if I had this credit card?
Oh, you're asking me?
Mm-hmm. What would they have me do?
Oh, they would tell you to probably take that money and pay that debt off.
Exactly. That's exactly what they would do. And if I did, how much interest would I save? Because they could only charge me 1 month's worth of interest, correct?
Correct.
How much interest would I save?
$241. Well, per month, less than that, right? Because that interest only payment is annual.
This is the monthly payment.
That's the monthly. Okay, so $241.67.
So I get to save $241.67. What? $241 is $241, isn't it?
After you paid $10,000.
Right. So I got to pay $10,000. But if I take a look at my mortgage here, okay, I need you to, when you see this, I need you to look at cumulative principal here. Cumulative principal, because that's how much principal you could pay down on a mortgage. It's instantly added up and instantly adds up how much interest you're either paying or saving. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put $10,000 on this mortgage, look what happens. I got $9,600 here. I got $11,215 here. Okay. So somewhere between here and here, I could pay this loan down and knock off 6 or 7 payments. Wow, with 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how much interest I could save, at least $4,000 in interest on my low percentage mortgage. So if I had $10,000 and I had this mortgage, my $10,000, what do I want to pay off? Do I want to put it on my mortgage and save $4,000 or put it on my 29% credit card and save $281?
Well, you want to put it on your mortgage, but we're talking about an exponentially larger amount of money, right?
We
for the
are.
Mortgage than the credit card.
Exactly. And that's why people get fooled when they only look at interest rate.
All right, so let's go. Let's talk about the higher interest rate.
We need to talk about interest cost. That helps us to make more and better choices for ourselves. We can make better choices when it comes to saving money when we look at interest cost instead of interest rate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does it?
Don.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that. My second part of my question
Yes.
I have though was, is there, since I don't have a mortgage,
Mhm.
and I want to, and I'm, this is great because I'll be looking to purchase a home and make some investments in the next couple years,
Okay.
hopefully. Is there a way to look at paying off credit cards eat, to avoid paying extra interest?
Okay. So do you want something very easy? Now, this isn't my program. I'm just helping people to understand how all of this works. Something very easy, but nobody ever talks about. All right. This is free. This is not my program. My program is more precise and it's going to save you more interest. But let's just say, give me a balance on a credit card, a particular balance. How much do we owe on
3,500.
we owe $3,500 on a credit card. Now, I'll take that. Now I'm going to take a look at my income. I'm going to now take a look at my expenses. And after I pay all of my bills and pay the minimums only on debt, about how much money do I have left over? Give me a number. It says, Don, you owe $3,500 over here, but when you pay your bills, you actually have about this much money left over after paying your bills. Can you give me a number?
2,500.
I got about $2,500 left over. Okay. Can I put that money in the bank and not touch it because I can pay the rest of my bills?
Say for the credit card, yes.
Yeah, okay. So yeah. So I can put that $2,500 in the bank. All right. And because all my my other bills are paid, even the minimum payment on the credit cards. Correct?
Correct.
All right. So the next month I do it again. How much do I have in the can I can put another $2,500 in the savings account, right?
Right.
And now I have how much in the bank?
5K.
Listen, how do I feel about having 5K in the bank that I could look at? Oh my goodness.
Secure.
Jessica, do I just love it?
I do.
I do. I got that 5K in the bank. But let me ask you, Miss Jessica, now that I got 5K in the bank, how much am I making on my savings account? 0.1%?
Very little. Nothing.
Mm.
It's costing me to have it in savings.
What? It's costing you to have it in savings? So, Miss Jessica,
Yes.
if I I got 5,000 in the bank, could I now pay off my $3,500 credit card in just 1 month?
Yes.
And give myself an instant raise of $241 that I don't have to pay them now?
I would want to, but it sounds like you don't want me to.
Listen. Here's what you need to realize. Okay, we're talking about the fungibility of money now, and you might want to take a look at that. I'm going to put that on my screen. We're going to take a look at fungible, 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 and fungible means mutually interchangeable. All right, mutually interchangeable. So I've got $5,000 in the bank. I got $3,500 over here on my credit card. Can I take $3,500 out of the bank, all right, and pay off the credit card?
I could, in theory.
In theory, okay. Now, when I do that, how much money do I have available to spend? I got $5,000 in the bank. I just paid off a $3,500 credit card.
Right.
Which leaves me what, 1,500 in the bank?
1,500.
In the bank, all right?
Right.
So how much do I have available to spend once I pay off the credit card?
In cash or? You mean
Available
cash?
to spend, period.
Are you talking about the credit card? and cash.
Ooh.
So if the whatever, I guess whatever's on, you have access to in credit, right? And your
Mm-hmm.
cash. Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yes. I still have
Okay.
$5,000 to spend, don't I?
Yes.
I have
Looking
the
at that.
I have the 1,500 in the bank, and I got the 3,500 I just paid off on the credit card. It still
Right.
adds up to $5,000, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Okay, Mom Led and me, who's watching us on YouTube, just put $5,000, and you're exactly right. So here's what I need everybody to know: by you doing that, they're not charging you 29% a year to keep your money in the bank. You paid off the credit card and you stopped the bleeding of the interest, but you still have $5,000 available to spend.
Mm.
So, do you know how many people I run into, Miss Jessica, that
Mm-hmm.
have plenty of money in the bank and they have these balances on the credit card? And you need to take a look at your credit card as a place to store money. So, have you ever heard of a penny saved is a penny earned?
Yes, I have.
Okay. When it comes to paying off debt, a penny saved is 2 pennies earned. Because
Okay.
when you pay off that credit card, the interest that you're no longer paying, you literally could invest somewhere else that can make you money, correct?
Right.
All right. So if they're charging you $200 a month interest on this card, but I don't have to pay the $200 now, it's still in my budget. Well, I was willing to give it to them in interest. If I don't have to pay it, I don't want to just spend it now. What if I just invest it somewhere else? So a
Right.
penny saved is actually 2 pennies earned. How do you like
Yeah.
that?
I love that.
Okay. So think of your money in the bank as the most expensive money you own if you have other debt. Take that money and place it in your credit card and treat your credit card like a savings account that pays you 29%. Because when you stop the bleeding, you're now making 29% on that money that you don't have to spend anymore. Wow.
Mm.
What a way to look at it.
Yeah, that is a different perspective.
Yes, saving myself 29%. We don't like to use if I save myself 29%, it doesn't seem as exciting. It doesn't move me as much as it angers me to pay 29%. It angers me to
Right.
pay 29%, but it should make you equally or even more excited not to pay 29%.
Right.
And then take that 29% I was willing to give to the bank and let me now take that money and invest it somewhere else. Ooh, I'm glad you brought this up, Miss Jessica. Ooh, I'm glad you brought it up.
Thank you, Don.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. And the thing is, the reason why I got off with Dave last night is because if you're not looking at the numbers, it is so hard to see what we're talking about. So here, I'm going to put in while we're still here. Do you still have a little bit of time to spend with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I'm going to put in a $200,000 mortgage. Okay. I'm putting in a $200,000 mortgage here. Boom. Let's move this over to here at 8%. $200,000 mortgage at 8%, everybody. And this is why I like higher interest rates. Okay. Now, if I can get a property, a $200,000 property at 8%, my payment on that is $1,467.53. In most communities, if I can get a house for this, okay, in most communities still, for a comparable house, it would cost me more than this in rent. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I'm looking at 200,000 at 8%. When we scroll down, I have $143.20 going to principal, $1,133.33 going to interest. Do you see that?
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
That's ridiculous. That doesn't feel good at all.
It doesn't. All right. So listen, my whole payment is $1,467.53. That's my whole payment.
Mhm.
Wow. And how much interest comes out of that whole payment is $1,333.33. And out of my whole payment of $1,467.53, only $134.20 is applied to principal. That's how we're taught to look at it.
Mhm.
Would you
Isn't
like?
that similar to car loans, right?
Would you like to
How you
look
look
at it?
car loans too.
Yeah, exactly. Would you like to learn how to look at this a different way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here's how we should look at it. Every month, I pay a little less interest and a little more principal, but my payment remains the same. So the next month, $135.09 goes to principal, and my interest drops just a little bit, the $332.44, but the payment remains the same. It all adds up to the same payment. The next month, $135.99 goes to principal, and my interest drops a little bit more to $1331.54. You see how that works?
Yes.
Okay, but every month I do this, it allows them to charge me. Now, what are they really charging me for? Because of the amortization formula, all right, I'm being charged 6% or 8% on the balance, 1/12 of the interest rate. Remember, when you have the interest rate, it's not 8% a month, it's 1/12 of the interest rate that month that I'm being
Mhm.
charged. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so if I put my calculator on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, if this is true, then I would put 0.08 into my calculator, divide it by 12, and this is the number that they use. 0.00, all these sixes and that little 7 at the end. That's the number they use each month. So if I have $200,000, if I'm correct, I should take my $200,000, multiply it by this number, which is 1/12 of the interest rate, and it should give me my first interest payment, correct?
Correct.
So let's multiply that by 200,000, and it equals 130, I'm sorry, $1,333.33. Boom.
Mm,
Right there. That's how they do it.
okay.
Now, here's the thing. The thing that makes this different is not the interest they're charging me, but how much is left over to bring down the principal. This is the
Mhm.
key to the whole thing right here. This $134.20. I have just a tiny bit going to principal. The higher the interest rate, the tinier the principal payment. So
Mhm.
I'm actually paying them to bring down my loan by $134.20. If I look at it their way. But now I want you to look at it your way that benefits you. So we make this payment here in January. I make my very first payment in January. And I can actually see my February principal payment, can't I?
Mhm.
How much is my February principal payment?
135.09.
Do I have to wait till February to give the bank that money?
No.
Oh, you mean I could give it to them early?
Yeah.
And all of it would go to principal, wouldn't it? Yeah, because I'm still in January.
Mm.
I give them the 135.09 in January. All this money goes to principal. So I'm paid down to line 2 in January, right?
Oh, okay. So in February,
Mhm.
you would be owing 135.99. Wait a minute.
There you go. That's exactly what happened. See, it seems so simple, doesn't it?
So why is the second month's principal lower than the third month here?
Actually,
135.09 versus, is that right?
no, yeah, we got 135.09 in the second month. And the third month, the principal is actually higher, 135.99. It's 90 cents more.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I got confused
Yeah.
for a second.
It's 90 cents more. You see that?
Yes.
So now, here's what we're doing. If I let them charge me each month, okay, this is not just one mortgage, it's 360 mortgages. What? Yeah, so they're taking 1/12 of the interest rate and they're multiplying it by $200,000. That gives me $134.20. I bring down my principal that I owe by $134.20, and now I get $199,865.80. Now, what do they have to do with this so that I know how much interest I pay the next month with this number? They have to take 1/12 of the interest rate again, right? That's 0.08 divided by 12. I get this number again because this is the magic number, not the 8%, this one here. Then they're going to multiply by the 199,865.80.
Right.
So let's do that. Let's multiply it by 199,865.8 equals 1,332.40.438. Now, because of this 8, does that mean I have to round up this 3 to a 4? Yes.
Yes.
So it's 1,132.44. Let me look at my second interest payment here. Look at that. 1,332.44. So if I give them the $135 early, they don't get to see this number here, do they?
No.
They get to see this number, don't they?
Yeah.
And now they have to charge me for February's payment. They have to charge me according to this number,
I love this.
which actually gives me this amount of interest and this amount of principal on line 3.
So Don, let me ask you a question.
Please.
So if you paid, like, if you decided to pay $270, will that bring you down to month 4? Like, versus making a whole mortgage payment
What?
or extra, like, say, like for the gentleman who spoke first and
Yes.
said, I pay an extra $1,000, which at the same time he pays his regular mortgage.
Right.
I still don't understand what's not happening, or I think I do understand what you're saying with him. He may not have to be paid. He may not even have to pay that much. He could pay like $700 and still bring himself down further on the schedule. So if I
Exactly.
decided to double up on the principal payment, it could push me forward in terms of interest payments.
Wait a minute, Miss Jessica. It can't be that easy. Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Wait a minute. Are you saying
This is great.
if I make my mortgage payment here in January and I give them this principal payment and this one from line 2 and line 3, $270 approximately. Are you saying that would that bring me down to line 4 immediately? The answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Thank you for this.
Because it is the principal payment that drives this thing, which makes it so if I can bring this principal payment down by a little bit each month, that means that the investor who owns this loan gets to charge me 360 times because I bring down the payment by $135 and $136 and $137, and it leaves me all of these so they can charge me each time. Let me tell you about how an amortization schedule works. What it really means is how many times can the bank actually charge me the full payment? How many times can they charge me $1,467.53? By bringing my principal down by a little bit, they get to charge me 360 times. That's 30 years worth.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do this, Miss Jessica, let's do this. Do you see all these principal payments?
Mm-hmm.
If I add it up for a year, I'm going to take a look at column 3 over here. Cumulative principal. I added up for a year. On line 12, how much principal do I pay down in 1 year?
$1,670.74.
Wow. If I do it the bank's way, I have to pay them interest every month for a year, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
If I look at cumulative principal, I mean cumulative interest, how much interest do I have to pay them to do that?
We owe $15,939.62.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That can't
That's
be right.
crazy.
That can't be right. Are you saying
That's just wrong.
Are you saying that the bank wants to charge me almost $16,000 just to bring my loan down by $1,670.74? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. So here's my question to you. And this is what I was pointing out to Dave. You have to be looking at the numbers for this to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I know I'm going to at least give them this because it's money that I borrowed. I got to give them back the money I borrowed.
Right.
Do I have to give them $1,670.74 in 12 monthly installments?
No.
Could I give it to
I'm
them?
sorry.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So if I could give them, you said I could give them $270, right? At one time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
could I give them $1,670 at one time? If I had it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's
you
do a little
could.
bit of math. I got $200,000, right?
Mhm.
Starting out with 200,000. I'm going to subtract 1,670 because this is money they're subtracting from what I owe.
Right.
But the bank wants to do it over 12 months. They want to do it at a graduated level. Yeah, over 12 months. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's subtract that 1,670.74, subtract 1,670.74. There it is. Boom. I now owe 198,329.26. Isn't that exactly what I have right here?
Yes.
So, Miss Jessica, does it make more sense to pay them the 1670 in small increments every single month, or to give it to them one time?
I would say give it to them at one time, right?
Yeah, well, if I did, would I be paid down to right here in 1 month?
Yes.
That means they can charge me, what just happened? So on my very first payment, they charge me $1,333.33. But
And
then I gave them the rest of the 1670, which means I'm paid down to right here. So the second time they charge me, have to charge me on this number, the 198,329.26.
Right.
Well, let's do that. So I'm going to bring up my 0.08. I'm going to divide that by 12. I get my magic number and I multiply it by my new balance because my first balance was 200,000. I gave them the whole 1670 in the first month, and now my new balance is 198,329.26. So let's do that. Multiply it by 198,329.26 equals 1,322.195. And since this is a 5, I got to round this up to 20 cents.
Right.
Look at line
That brings you up to
13.
year 2.
Look at this. This is my next mortgage payment. 145.33 goes to principal. 13.32 goes to interest. So, did I just skip all of these interest payments? from line 2 to
You
line.
did.
Are you
Now,
kidding me?
also a quick question about interest payments.
Come
And
on.
one of the things that some folks capitalize on when it comes tax time. So are you shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to that? Or is this more beneficial
Okay.
money wise to do this versus counting on writing off interest on your taxes
All right. That is
and getting that money back?
that's a very good question. So I need you to put these things in two different buckets. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First bucket, how much interest are they charging me each month? When you're making a mortgage payment, okay, I'm not getting rid of February's payment. This is January's payment here on line 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
By giving them the 1670 and 74, I still have a February payment.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is it though?
It's the one on line 13.
That is February's new payment. I still have a February payment.
Right.
I still have an interest payment to pay.
Yes.
So
you'll still be paying interest.
I still
right?
be paying
No
interest
matter what.
no matter what.
So you're still getting your write-off from taxes.
There you
So
go.
you're not losing there.
You're not losing
Okay.
there. But what I am losing is 11 monthly mortgage payments I never have to make,
Wow.
and over $14,000 in interest I never have to pay. Because if I do it the bank's way, I have to give them all $15,939. Here's the second bucket. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing my loan down from 200,000 down to 198,329. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I do it their way, it's going to cost me 15,939.62 to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But look at it. What is it going to cost me to bring it down from 200,000 to 198,329? I just want to get it here.
$1,600.
I can give them $1,600 in 12 monthly installments, or I can give it to them one time.
Right.
If I give it to them one time, it makes it impossible for them to charge me all of these interest rates in between, because they need these numbers and the principal balance each month to charge me those.
I love that.
You just love
Thank
it.
you.
Now,
Yes,
here's
thank
what
you.
I was
That's
telling
wonderful.
him last night, that when people refinance, I'm going to take this loan, all right, and I'm going to refinance it. So we're going to take this, boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're going to duplicate the tab. And now I'm going to take my $200,000 and I'm going to get 6% interest rate instead. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now, but I'm going to charge me $6,000 to get the to refinance. Correct.
Right.
So he's saying, now look at the difference. And so I got 1199.10 here and
Right.
1467 here. So it says take your 1467.53 was my old payment. Now I got my new payment of 1199.10 minus 1199.10. Oops, back up 0.1. Okay. So that's about $268 difference. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's if I don't have any closing cost. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But what if my new payment, all right, is, so we're going to add $6,000 to this. So because refinancing ain't free.
Right.
So it's 206,000. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But my payment still, I got 1467.53 and it goes to 1511. Still a pretty good savings. Still a pretty good savings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I said, what is it going to cost me to get back? Oh, I forgot to change my interest rate. Doggone it. Hold on.
Oh, to 6%.
Got to change it to 6%. Okay, let's do it.
Why would you refinance if this is
Oh, that's what I'm trying to tell everybody. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody.
seeing is believing, right?
Right. Okay. So now my payment is $1235.07. Okay. $1235.07. So now I'm telling him, what does it cost me to get it back to the 200 $1,000 I had before I refinanced? I got to pay off the first $6,000, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, when I pay off, how much does it cost me to pay off $6,000 here? Here's my cumulative principal. Let me know when it stops moving on your screen.
Okay, it stopped.
Okay. So cumulative principal. In the first year, I only pay this loan down by $2,500.
Right.
How much interest does it cost me already?
$1,000.
About to do $2,500. I'm looking at line 12.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Line 12.
12,000.
Okay. $12,000. What? I haven't even paid off. I still owe $203,000. I haven't gotten back to my $200,000 yet.
Or the 198 before after you made those extra payments to bring you back to month 13.
Don't say it too loud.
So you're back, right? You push yourself $6,000 back.
Right. And do you see how expensive? Do you see how expensive it is to pay off $6,000 in a loan?
Yes.
How long does it take to pay off the first $6,000? Wait till it stops moving.
Oh my. So you're in year 3,
yes.
Right? Halfway through year 3.
Yes. It takes 28 months to pay off $6,000. How much interest?
$28,000.
And he was saying that's over 30 years. I said, no, Dave.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't take 30 years to accumulate $28,000 in interest. It only takes 28 months.
This is slavery. I'm sorry.
Come on now. In fact, that's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday.
I'll be there for it because this is ridiculous. I've looked at an amortization schedule before many years ago.
Yes.
But the way I'm seeing it now is I'm so glad that I'm seeing it now.
Okay. Now, here's what I want to show everybody about these 8% interest rates. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So now I'm going to get rid of some of these. All right. Got to get rid of some of these. All right. So we're going to take a look at $200,000. Okay. 200,000. Right. At 8% interest. 8% interest. This is going to blow your mind. 360 payments. Right. And boom, there is I got 1467.53. All right. 8% interest. But I got some people who are looking at trying to bring that interest rate down. So they'll pay extra to get the 6% interest rate on the same loan. Okay. And here's my payment.
Yeah.
Here's what they're looking at. That's why I asked Dave, do they need a lower payment or do they just want a lower payment?
Right.
Because if I can make the 1467.53 instead of the 1199.10, people look at this part and just make a decision on this. I get 1199.10 as my payment, not 1467.53. Okay. So now I'm going to take this payment and I need you to take a look at something for me. Okay. This is the lower interest payment. My principal payments start out at, when it stops moving, $199, then $200, then $201. That's at the 6%, right? And I got to pay extra to get it. All right.
Okay.
So in 1 year, we talked about what we could do if we paid a year's worth of principal. 2,456.01 knocks off a whole year, and my next mortgage payment will actually be on line 13, right?
Right.
Okay. Look at my principal payments here at 6%. Now look at my principal payments at 8%. Tell me when it stops moving.
Okay, it stopped. Oh, wow.
134. My principal payments are tinier at the higher interest rate.
Right.
So if I'm going to pay, just get rid of 1 month worth of interest, is it easier to pay $135 to get rid of 1 month or $200?
$135 is easier.
Because that's at the higher interest rate. Remember when I said we can pay $2,400 to get rid of 1 year at the lower interest rate?
Mm-hmm.
That looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I prepay $2,400 at the higher interest rate, look at what happens. How many payments do I knock off now?
Oh, you're down into almost the middle of the second year.
How about
16
that?
payments.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
When you control the principal payment, you control the loan. And the higher the interest rate, the lower the principal payment, you could do more damage.
That makes complete sense. Wow, I would have never thought that'd be the case.
Now, do you remember the huge amount of interest he talked about before? He gave us an example. What was that interest rate he talked about?
Was he talking about back in the, I
Yeah.
don't know, 20 or 30 years ago?
Yeah.
It was like 11.
Well, yeah.
So
But did he give
double
an example
digits?
of 25% interest at the beginning? Or did you come in at that time?
I can't remember. It was very high. I might have heard that.
Right. So he talked about a 25% interest rate. All right. Somebody's had a property that was worth a lot, and it says, oh, 25% interest. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And most people look at that and go crazy. Let me show you what would happen for the same loan at 25% interest. We're going to change that to 25. Look at this. 25%. Payment is crazy. $4,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I need you to take a look at the principal payment. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Look at the principal payment on this loan. Tell me when it stops moving.
Okay, it stopped.
Okay. Look at my principal payments
Ooh.
now.
Right. Oh, wow. So it's easy to make those extra little.
Oh, look at you now. Look at you talking like a pill method person.
I had $3 all day long.
Yes, you do.
How much I had to pay.
How much do we have to come up with in 1 year to knock off a year's worth off of this one? I can knock off a year's worth of payment.
19 cents.
How much?
$3.13. And I'm sorry, in
Cumulative principal. Cumulative principal.
$33.59.
Do you have an extra $33.59?
I'm sure it's in the sofa somewhere.
Could you knock off 12 months worth of payments you don't have to make?
Yeah.
How much interest would you save?
$49,996.33.
If more people knew. Now, I'm not saying go out and get a 25% loan. I'm just saying don't be afraid of higher interest rates. Keep you from getting into these loans.
Thank you. This is so helpful.
Let's go back to this 8%. So if I have an 8% mortgage and I can afford the payment, don't let me pay extra to get the 6%. Now, what we're not asking is a very good question, Jessica. Why would a bank offer you to lower your interest rate? Okay, why would they do that? I'm going to show you something that's going to be, it will totally blow your mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so.
Besides what we just saw in terms of it's putting you back and adding on more money that you owe to begin with.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
Crazy.
So here's what we're talking about. I got I had Raul Stanley in here for a second, but anyway, here's what we're going to take a look at. Okay, because I've got just a few minutes left in my show today because it's a 2-hour show. All right. So now I've got my 8% mortgage. All right. And now we're going to take a look at what was I was going to show an example. 200,000 at 8%. Why would you pay extra to get the lower interest rate? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now most people, 9 out of 10 people will never pay off a mortgage. You just think about all the people that ever had a mortgage and that actually paid one off. Most people will never. So what's the likelihood that a bank who gives me this 8% interest rate at 200,000, that they're going to receive all the interest that they're looking for? Because most people will pay their mortgage and most people will never pay it off. So what's the likelihood of the bank getting this $328,000 that they're looking for?
Unlikely.
I'm sorry?
Unlikely.
Unlikely. Why is that?
Because if someone doesn't pay off their mortgage, then they're not going to get all that interest.
No. They'll never get done. I'm not saying they're going to stop paying. I'm just saying they'll never finish paying.
Oh,
How many people actually pay a mortgage off, but they'll actually die with the mortgage? So over
I
30
guess a lot of people.
over 30 years, the bank is pretty good chance of getting this money, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So or,
Yeah.
or a great deal of it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how much they're looking for. If I lower the interest rate, so now I've got $300,000 I'm looking for. $328,310.80. Oops. Dang it. 328 $310.80. That's how much I'm looking for because I'm the investor that has this loan. All right. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if they lower the interest rate to 6%, now it's 231,000. Wait till it stops moving.
Mm-hmm.
231,000. So we're gonna subtract 231,676 equals $96,000. Now, to lower this interest rate down to 6, they're going to charge me something like between, I don't know, $5,000 and $10,000 to lower my interest rate. So I'm
Mhm.
buying points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would a bank only charge me $5,000 to $10,000, even if they charge me $20,000 to lower the interest rate 2 points? Why would they put themselves in a position to lose $96,000? Why would they ever sell me that? Are you good?
Because
Go ahead.
they're still getting their money, right?
Right.
Plus some.
Right. So do they actually realize, the people who own the bank, do they actually realize that by lowering my interest rate, I'm actually making it harder to pay the loan off faster?
You said, does the bank realize that?
That the people who own the bank, by lowering my interest rate, lowering my interest rate,
Mm-hmm.
because I have at a higher interest rate, I have a tiny principal payment.
Right.
My money does more work for me. When I lower the interest rate, I actually make it harder to prepay and to save money and time because my principal payment is higher.
Right.
Do you think that the people who own the bank actually realize that if somebody's talking about saving money, I don't want them using these tiny principal payments and hurting me. Let me sell them a lower interest rate so when they start to prepay, it doesn't do as much damage to my loan. I keep them in there longer and I make more money.
Right. So they do realize that. Just like the example that you showed
Mhm.
where it sets you back when you refi for a
Yes.
lower interest rate.
Yes. Isn't that something? So, folks, here's some of the things that they will do. Here's some of the things that they will do if you are looking at getting if you have a higher interest rate. Here's some of the things that they're going to offer you. Okay, you can get a lower term. When you lower the term, you can go from a 30-year loan, go down to 25 or a 20-year loan. Don't do that because you actually end up hurting yourself. You make your payments larger, and you can't, when you prepay, when you have a higher principal payment, it doesn't do as much work for you. So don't lower the term, all right? Or put a big down payment down. Never put a big down payment down either, okay? So let's say I had an extra $50,000, all right, on this loan, all right, on my 8% loan, okay? If I had an extra $50,000 to put down, I could have a $150,000 mortgage, couldn't I?
Yes.
Okay. But if I kept my $50,000 and got the whole $200,000 loan, could I take my $50,000 and prepay the loan instead?
Yes.
And look what happens when I put $50,000 as a prepayment instead of a down payment. Look how many payments I knock off. It just keeps going and going and going. Let me know when it stops moving. How about that?
To me.
So why would I still have a $150,000 loan, but if I use it as my $50,000 as a down payment, I start at payment number 1 on a $150,000 loan. If I keep my $50,000 and get the $200,000 loan and use my 50 grand as a prepayment, I start out on payment number what?
188.
That's over 20. That's 20 and a half years I've just knocked off alone with the same 50 grand. So you see over here, I still owe $150,000, don't I? Why would anybody ever put a large down payment down? Don't buy down the rate, okay? And when rates go down, go ahead.
But what's the difference here?
Okay.
Though
Here's
I see what's happening, but what's the difference between the two? So you pay down the principal so you can get down. Oh, so you're knocking time off.
Right.
Got it.
Because if I start out with if I start out on this loan here doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Duplicate the tab. I can put in $150,000 and start here. Okay. 150 at 8%. Right?
Right.
I get a lower payment, but I'm at payment number 1 for my 150,000.
Mm-hmm.
If I keep my 150,000,
no, not a big difference in payment either.
yeah, not a big difference in payment, but I keep my 150,000 and get my $200,000 loan and apply the $50,000 to principal on my total loan. I still have 150,000, but I knock off over 20 years. I'm not starting at payment number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever put a large down payment on a loan.
I see how this works.
You see?
Wow.
Miss Jessica, I only have a few minutes left, but thank you so very much. I want to encourage people to go to ice10k.com, get your savings and earnings report today. Click on that. So I'm going to bring that up again, ice10k.com, get your savings and earnings report. If you like what you heard today, you may even want to help share the information with people. Then become an affiliate, become a P.I.L.L Method affiliate, and we'll show you how you can make between $300 and $3,000 a month by sharing this information. And all you have to do is point them to this YouTube channel. I'll show you how to do all of that. Fill out, put your name, your phone number, and email address in. Go to ice10k.com and click on this button here, become an affiliate. Become an affiliate. Do that. It takes about 15 seconds to fill out, and just tell us how you want to get paid. And you can make between $300 and $3,000 a month. And all you have to do is, when you find somebody who wants to pay off their debt faster and easier and cheaper, just send them over to the YouTube channel. Let them watch these YouTube videos for about 2 days. Call them back and say, do you want more information? And when they say yes, then you go back to the same 10K card. Scroll down to where it says, refer a friend. Click on the refer a friend button, fill in their information, put it in here, put in your phone number and your name so we'll know who to credit, and send that to us and we do the rest. And when they become a client, we pay you $300. Oh, if you send us 5 in 1 month, that's a total. We're going to keep increasing how much we send you. And you send us 5 total in 1 month, it comes to $3,000. So between $300 and $3,000 a month you can make by helping people watch these videos. How about that? And the last thing, folks, the last thing is get my book. You see this button here? It says get the book. All right, go click on that button, go to ice10k.com and get the book. So 3 things we will ask you to do: get the book, become an affiliate, and get paid between $300 and $3,000 a month, asking people to watch videos. We do all the selling. You do no selling. All right. And get your own savings and earnings report, okay, to know the month, day, and year you're debt free, and fill this out and you get the report for free. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. Don't be afraid of these high interest rates, okay? Learn how to use them and make them work for you. So right now, we want to hear from our friend, E.T., the hip hop preacher, and see what he has to say about the pill method. And I'll see you on Sunday when we're talking about let me see, what's Sunday's show about? Let me bring it up here. Sunday's show is going to be in the mortgage syndicate. All right. Sunday's show is going to be in the mortgage syndicate. And let me tell you what the title of that show is. Mortgage syndicate. Where are you? Okay, mortgage syndicate. And we're looking at Sunday's show in the mortgage syndicate. And it's going to be about the truth about lending and what it's mortgage lending should be considered financial violence the way they're doing it now. Mortgage lending should be considered financial violence, and we're going to go over that on Sunday when we come back. But and Friday's show I haven't put up yet. So look at Sunday's show. You want to be here on Sunday, and we'll be back here on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas right now.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.